Greg, it's still brought to you by Best Ford in Nashua. Looking for great deals on new Fords? Go to the Best First, Best Ford in Nashua, on the web at thebestford.com. Was yesterday more about what the Patriots did or what they didn't do, Greg? I know the answer, but go ahead, share it with our listeners, please.
So my opinion is what they did do. And I thought number one, they got better as a football team. Number two, I would say not vastly, but I would say they improved the defense and they improved the culture on the team that Mike Vrabel wants to set on this team. And so I think they made progress. I know a lot of fans out there want them to do more, wonder where the offense is and all that. And I just think you look at this and you see that Mike Vrabel looked at this team, said the defense needed to be revamped if this team had any chance, and that's where he started his rebuilding process.
Mazz, let me read you the headline in the Globe today. Ben Volin's column reads, despite spending all that money, the Patriots' day one free agent haul still felt underwhelming. Agree or disagree?
I would say a little bit, yeah, a little bit. But again, underwhelming. Like, the whole thing didn't suck. It was pretty good. I give him like a B.
He didn't say suck. He said the haul felt underwhelming.
Yeah, a little bit.
You still had that feeling, right?
Yes, a little bit. Yes, again, other than
Why is that? Why does that feeling exist?
Because a lot of those guys are limited, and I don't want to call them role players, but the linebacker Spillane. Okay, to me that one, he's a run game player. He's not a pass game player. He's not a premium player, and I'm not telling you need a premium player at every spot. Carlton Davis to me is a decent corner. He's not elite. As a second corner, he's fine. You know, the one that really sticks out is Williams. I mean, he's a monster, or he should be a monster. But again, he's only played 50% of the snaps.
But with Spillane and Davis, sorry to cut you off, they feel like, to me, the bet I've read on them is they're attitude guys more than anything else, Greg.
Yeah, without question. I think everybody that they added on defense, these are culture, attitude, Vrabel type of guys.
Okay. Important for a football team, but you understand why a fan base would, that doesn't, a good attitude is not going to sell a ticket or get you to the TV. It might, in the long run, help establish a program, but immediately it's going to be hard for attitude just to win a game, or, you know what I mean, Greg? So
they try hard.
So, that is hard to, I can see a fan being less than overwhelmed by that. That's just sort of common sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's how I feel.
These aren't the names that get you chubbed up.
You're supposed to have fans supposed to get all jacked up that he's good in the room?
Right.
I mean, how far does that go? So I think you're feeling some of that. And I think you're also feeling, obviously, offense, defense. I mean, what gets you going as a fan? What excites you? Passing game. I mean, that's in a nutshell.
That's the bigger one for me.
And they've really done very little in the passing game.
What was the biggest area of weakness on the team, Greg? If you had to...
The offensive line.
Yeah, that's what I feel too. So, that's the number one need on the team for them to be able to, just my opinion, for them to be able to become a respectable offensive team. They got to be able to block. That still is not fixed. So, you tell me, Greg, is there still enough out there for them to be able to make that respectable?
To make it respectable, yes. I could say people are going to scoff, and they already have, on Twitter. But look, as of today, if they had to go out there and play, Vidarian Lowe at left tackle, Cole Strange at left guard, David Andrews at center, and we'll see if that
all these bumbles that he's done.
I don't know where he is on it, but I would say that I would just put center's not solidified in my mind at this time. So you're talking about three positions on your offensive line. Michael Wenu and Morgan Moses at right tackle. It's not great, but in the hands of a capable offensive coordinator like Josh McDaniels, it's manageable. We talked about it last year, going into the offseason. Just solidify yourself at one tackle. You can deal, even if it's the left side, you can deal with a weakness over there. And I posted this on Twitter earlier. Vidarian Lowe had better stats last year than, say, like Cam Robinson, who's the next sort of free agent left tackle that's left out there. And I'm not saying Vidarian Lowe is great or should be your starter. But could I see a path forward where this team, as of today, is better this coming season than they were last season? Yeah, with the defense and with McDaniels able to scheme some things up, yeah.
Okay, too low of a bar just to say better. They suck. So, like, of course they're going to be better. They should be better. That's like you should be asking for more than that.
I want them to be at least average on the offensive line.
Should they have been in on Joe Thuney? I can't believe you're hesitating because for 6 months all you did was shove Joe Thuney up our ass.
Yeah,
You're practically-
you know how I feel about Joe Thuney,
You're
but
Exactly. I know how you feel about Joe Thuney.
You guys are practically related.
It was a 4th-round pick next year, and it was just 1 year left on the contract at under $20 million. So why do you hesitate for a guy that you talked up so heavily? That feels like a pretty affordable price. Why are you hesitating when I say should they have been in on Joe Thuney?
Because, and this goes for the way the Patriots are going to free agency right now. Like, you use free agency for spackle. You don't use it to build a foundation. This team needs to build a foundation, and that only comes through the draft. And that's, 2 years out. I understand what you're saying. But this is why this team can't do a Laramie Tunsil trade, because they need to draft people. They're trying to do, it looks like they're trying to do what the Commanders did last year, which is middle the thing. Bring in mid-level free agents and then knock the draft out of the park.
Greg, so Tunsil was a 2nd, a 3rd, and a swap of 4th, I think. Joe Thuney was a 5th-round pick next year.
Okay.
That's going to prevent you from building through the draft?
A 4th next year that felt
I'm sorry, I keep doing that. I'm sorry. A 4th next year.
I mean, look, I just think they're in a different place. I think they look at it that way, that they need to, this is a rebuild. They're not, they are, it would have to be a very special case for them to get rid of a draft pick, and that's even whatever, 4th or 5th, next year for 1 year. They just don't, they look at it like they're not in a position to do that.
Can I give you another reason potentially to bring Thuney in before you blow a gasket?
Go ahead.
Okay. Wouldn't it make sense to have a guy like Thuney there if you were going to draft Will Campbell? In other words, why not have a good veteran left guard if they have designs on drafting Campbell? Why not have a good veteran left guard to play alongside him?
I mean, that's fine. That's a good point. I mean,
thank you.
You did draft Cole Strange in the 1st round.
Oh,
I mean,
do you believe in Cole Strange?
I mean, what about bringing in a?
Do you believe in Cole Strange?
No.
I don't know. It's hard for me to tell with the coaching that they've had the past few years.
You think Cole Strange is a coaching problem?
I think every position has a coaching problem. I mean, look at the wide receivers last year. I mean, I want to go through it. Like, how many different offensive line coaches has Cole Strange had since he's been with the Patriots? It's a joke. Yes, that's important.
Greg, the coaching has been really bad for a couple of years. These players suck. Okay, let's not.
Cole Strange doesn't suck.
Sucks.
No.
I don't know if he's an NFL player. I haven't seen anything that would lead me to believe he's an actual NFL player. Other than he was drafted in the 1st round, he's gotten hurt, so he's sort of hung around. But I wouldn't be surprised if next year he's playing in the USFL. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. Like a bunch of their players. I think he just might be another one of those guys. And what was I just going to say to you? For God's sakes. God. So I think Cole Strange, not good enough, not an answer. And, here's what I was going to say. It is the way the whole thing's set up now, and the way they've approached free agency. Worry you that Will Campbell's the guy in the draft? Because I read your stuff coming out of the combine. Coming out of the combine, like a lot of us, you said, Will Campbell, I'm out. Mm-hmm. You can't be an elite tackle with those measurables. It hasn't happened in a quarter century in the league. I'm out. But now the way that they've done this, do you worry that that's actually the plan?
Through 1 day of free agency in the offseason?
We have a show to do today, Greg.
Yes. Am I going to change my tune later? Probably.
What do you mean? How? Why? I don't get it.
Oh, because I think they're going to do something. I don't think they're going to pigeon. Right now, today, the Patriots are not sitting in their offices saying, well, Will Campbell's our offseason plan. They're not saying that. They're leaving everything open, and we'll see where they are on whether that's the pick or not. But I think they're going to do some more things to at least get the roster to a point where they don't have to draft for need come April.
See, to me, this is the worst outcome of this if they've all just set it up that Well, the tackle's going to come in the draft. And it's a bad tackle draft. You're either taking a kid that just, again, it's been a quarter century.
Well, how about this? You know, your patron saint, the Washington Commanders, started a third-round pick at left tackle all year. And how were they able to do that? Now they're moving them inside because they traded for Laramie Tunsil. So they're moving them inside. How were they able to do that last year? Because Cliff Kingsbury game planned around it, schemed it up. And so there's nothing to say that the Patriots couldn't go Travis Hunter at 4 and the best of the next tackles at the top of the second round at 38.
Sure.
And him play and be a good player.
Doesn't bother me one bit. Will Campbell at 4 bothers me.
I would agree with that. If they end up doing that, I will not be a fan of it. At 4, number 4 overall, you're not drafting a guy who maybe can play tackle and could be a really good guard.
Right.
You're not doing that.
You guys that don't want Will Campbell at 4, and I'm not saying I do, I would grab your ankles because that one's coming.